Hi, I'm Dr. Mollie Marti, and welcome back to Resiliency Matters as we continue our conversation with Janet Hilary, an educational reformer from the United Kingdom. Let's start with the environment. What you described, the structure, but what did you start to do to change the environment in which the children found themselves in each day?
Yeah, so first of all, before I worked on the physical environment, I knew that I had to work on the emotional environment, if you like, of the school, both for the children and for the staff team. And so I affirmed the school as a calm school, and I affirmed the school as a successful school, and I affirmed the school as a school where every parent was totally committed to the best achievements of their children and committed to the school. And I didn't do this in a way that was phony. I did it in a way that I, inside myself, having made the commitment, found an ability to completely believe that, because I knew that we were manifesting that, and I needed to manifest it in this moment now in order to be able to bring it about. Because if I set that as something that was a distance away, the journey would be too slow. So I affirmed it right there and then. And it's just extraordinary how the psychology of that can start to work on a team. Of course, alongside that, I had to start to establish authority very quickly. I mean, the school was lacking leadership and authority, and schools in very challenging contexts need very clear, uncompromising, courageous leadership. And there's no question that I went in with that. And I said, for example, one of the very first things I demanded of the team was that we had a no shouting policy, that any raised voice in the school at any time would be challenged. I would challenge that first of all through compassion, understanding that that was somebody who was in difficulty and needed support. But if at any point I felt that that was something that was being done as a choice, then we would be in a disciplinary situation, because we were no longer going to use aggressive, negative methods to bring the school to its new manifestation. We were going to use positive ways. We were going to work with absolute compassion. We were going to work in a position of valuing every child in every situation, value the child first, address the situation, the behaviour, the circumstances, and help the child to understand it's the behaviour that we need to address. You as a child are infinitely, uniquely of unspeakable great value as a person in your own right, and that will never change. And the same with the parents, to show them that we valued them, and we were in total partnership with them. It was an us community, and there was no them in this community any longer.
What guidance would you have for parents who just think, where do I start now? Now that I know better, I want to do better. Yeah. How can I best support my middle schooler or a child who might not be ahead of the curve at this point?
Mm-hmm. I think the first thing, the good news that, you know, I hope I've brought to the US this week is that, you know, there really isn't a child that you can't teach to read, that you can't teach to write, and that you can't teach to be numerate. I've seen lots of children this week who've been pointed out to me as children who will never have these skills, and then I go to the child and I engage with them, and I see that they're absolutely capable of doing all of these things, and it just needs a different mindset from the teachers. I encourage all the parents, all the educators, all the leaders and policymakers in the US to get behind an understanding that children have unlimited potential and can do far more than learn to read and write and be numerate between 3 and 5 years old. To draw on the experiences of the great schools in the UK and elsewhere who are doing this work with great fidelity and effortlessly, and where the school and the home are working very much in partnership. So for example, in our schools, right from 3, we have every 6 weeks something called family learning, where the parents come in to work with their children in school. The teacher models it, parent and child together do follow the model, and then you have that to go and rehearse at home. And we will always have that partnership working. And then I'm told, well, what about, you know, the so-called hard-to-reach families? But we work in the hardest to reach context in the UK, but we get 100% in for family learning because we set it as an expectation, and we don't send an invitation out and wait to see who comes. We set about the work of making sure every single family is getting there. So whatever the barriers are to the parents coming in, we're going to get those barriers down because those parents are coming in. No child is going to get left behind. So for those parents, if anybody wants to be in touch, I'd be very happy to talk to them about how you do it.
And here's tool number 2. Creating a clear, consistent code of conduct shifts the conversation from not if kids can succeed, but how. When we come back, we will be talking about accountability. Stay tuned.